What's up, y'all? It's Link, and I wanted to talk about this new PlayStation promotion that they got going on right now, where if you live in the US, you actually get a free game if you buy a PlayStation 5. Yo, EU people and the rest of the world, don't be mad at me. Why PlayStation doing y'all like that? But with this list, I really wanted to kind of look at this, and if you see on the screen right now, these are the games that are available. So it's actually a pretty strong list of their first-person catalog that is available in order for you to get for free if you're buying a PlayStation 5. And that made me wonder, if you're new to a PlayStation 5 and you wanted to get, let's say, one of the best games that you can to maybe kind of highlight what makes the PlayStation 5 so good and why it's worthwhile, you know what? I wanted to figure out what you guys actually thought about that. So I posted a question up on X, Twitter, and essentially I said, okay, here's the full list of games you can get in this deal. I'm gonna make a video tonight based on your recommendations for which game a new PlayStation 5 owner should choose and why. And some of y'all took to it and you guys answered, so I wanted to read your guys' responses and then throw a little bit of what I think in there. But if we're being honest, Returnal is the choice of real gamers. Funny enough, I made that joke on the timeline, and there's people that don't know me that saw that and instantly got upset with the fact that I said something like that. Look, in the end of the day, there's no such thing as real gamers, whatever you want to call yourself. I mean, I really don't care, but I thought it was pretty funny, even though I do think that Returnal is the best PlayStation 5 game available. Yeah, I said it. But that doesn't mean that people would pick a game like Returnal, because let's be honest, it doesn't have the greatest marketing. A lot of people didn't really like how hard it was, and even when it came out, it had a lot of issues on the game. So I don't expect a lot of gamers to pick that one up, but if you do, you're in for a treat. But again, I wanted to hear what you guys had to say, so let's check out some of the comments. So Ked writes, The Last of Us Part 1. You don't need to play any previous game to understand. It was specifically made for the PS5. And it's just one of the best stories ever told in video games, and an excellent first step into PlayStation's first-party offerings. Look, I don't think you're going to find a lot of people that would really push back on that take, because Part 1, it had that level of simplicity in storytelling that a lot of people kind of connect to. And when I say simplicity, obviously there's depth to the story, but mostly what I'm trying to say is that it was a simple enough concept to people understand, where there's zombie type apocalypse, it's not zombies. There's this man who connects with this young girl who he seems to be a father figure to her to kind of, replace his loss, right? So with that being said, it was a tale that a lot of people could take. The gameplay was fun, and the fact that they kind of remade the game to be on PlayStation 5. I mean, there's some controversy in there. Some people will say, oh, PlayStation's just done the same game over and over. They're milking it all the way through. But anyone who has played this version can tell you that this version is so good. So yeah, I think that's a really good choice so far that we have on the list of the games. Next, we got Jerk Chicken Mofongo, who writes, For me, it all depends if you have a child in the house that plays video games, and then that's definitely Sackboy. I feel if you're black or Latino and from NYC, then Miles. If you're looking for something new, then Death Stranding. Yo, my boy Jerk over here, he really thought about that answer, because there's a lot of layers to what he's kind of asked right there. I mean, clearly, if you're going to buy this system, then it's going to be more for a family kind of situation, hey, Sackboy is a very strong choice because that's a great mascot from old PlayStation games, Little Big Planet. But you'll also see that this is a great platformer. Now, I haven't put any time into this game myself because I've kind of mostly moved away from platformers myself as a gamer. I think, you know, the platformers that I play nowadays are the Mario games, and I kind of stick right there to that wheelhouse. But I've seen tons of reactions to this game, and just how Jerk Chicken Mofongo put it out there, he understands. He has a kid of himself, so he's probably talking from that level of experience. So that's something for you guys to think about if you have young kids at home. Now, the next recommendation that he made was actually pretty damn cool because I happen to fall into exactly what he said. Black or Latino from New York. Yeah, that's actually me. I grew up in Queens, New York. I am Latino. Yes. And, you know, I'm also you know, black color as well too, right? I'd be defined as black. I'm not white. So with that being said, it was interesting kind of seeing that blend and then seeing the streets of New York through that kind of lens. I mean, you're gonna find these certain things that, you know, once you see through your lens, seeing some of this entertainment stuff, it's really kind of cool. You know, I actually felt the same thing with Transformers, the last Transformers that came out. Now, it wasn't the greatest movie. I mean, it was a kind of movie you kind of leave in the background and just watch, but I did like that the movie actually kind of took place within that realm where it was the Latino growing up in New York, within the 90s too, which is my MO as well. So I totally get this recommendation and I absolutely love it as well. And now for the last recommendation where my man said to play Death Stranding. Bro, he said Death Stranding. Listen, Death Stranding is absolutely one of my favorite games. Like, I just love what Kojima did. Like, I felt like he heard the memes for Walking Simulator and he said, what if I make this into a game? And he did. I absolutely love Death Stranding, but like a lot of Kojima games, unless you're that kind of person that you really retain a lot of the details throughout and as you go through, I'd be hard pressed to find that most people could explain to you from beginning to end what that game is about. But there's a special feeling when you play that game, and I absolutely agree that Death Stranding, if you want a unique kind of game, then Death Stranding is going to be that kind of game for you. I can't tell you the amount of hours I spent on that game trying to build out certain things into it. I don't want to get too spoilery because I think it's the kind of game that you just let it get its hooks into you and then you start really playing around with the tools that they give you in that game. And I can't see how you don't love the game, so I love that recommendation too. Next, we got Lou Dog, who wrote Ghost of Tsushima and Ragnarok would be my pick. Now, he just left it at that, so I had to ask why. He wrote, out of the list, those gives you the most upfront action and story. I would say The Last of Us 2, but that's a third time release game, so it's safe to assume at one point it's been played. But Ragnarok and Ghost of Tsushima is a great story off rip and action. Horizon Forbidden West can take a minute to get there. I mean, fair points, right? Because again, The Last of Us is a game that has had so many releases at this point that if you're a longtime gamer, chances are you played the game already. But if you are a brand new PlayStation person getting into it, I really feel that The Last of Us would be a great choice. And then going into it, you know, he's talking about Ragnarok and Ghost of Tsushima. You know, Ragnarok, clearly it's a very narrative continuation out of the previous game. So you gotta have to want to play the one before you move into this one. But absolutely a great choice, because if you are a PlayStation 4 owner and you played God of War 1, I mean, you would have been able to play God of War Rag. But regardless, if you want to have that PlayStation 5 experience with that game, it is a good choice. But you know, I think out of his choices, Ghost of Tsushima is an excellent choice because it is essentially one of the best forms of the Ubisoft formula, which is you have that wide map with so many different icons on it. But Ghost of Tsushima makes sure to kind of trim a lot of the excess fat that you would usually find in those Ubisoft games, give you those concentrated things to kind of focus on. But I love what they've done with the story, the side quests, the characters, and I still feel that Ghost of Tsushima is one of the best gameplay that you're gonna find in those kind of third party or third person ninja kind of samurai attacking sword. Like, switching between the stances is absolutely one of my favorite things to do in that game, and that's why I love that recommendation as well. So we got Mari, who also wrote, honestly, this is a really good one. The Last of Us would definitely be the perfect pick from me to people who buy a brand new PS5, especially if they're new to the ecosystem. And yeah, I agree with that, because again, I think it's giving you a taste of the best of what Sony PlayStation can offer, and if you are new to the ecosystem, that is the game to play. Number one, Josh Filmonstan writes, Ghost is the best game on the list. It is very beautiful as well. Spider-Man will also be a great choice as it has 2 sequels, and that's gotta be a big reason why they're actually doing this whole promotion too, because Spider-Man 2 is right across the corner, and we know that Spider-Man 2 has a lot of fanfare. Like, I'm a giant Spider-Man fan, so of course I want to play this game, and there's going to be people that they're probably gonna upgrade just for this game alone. So if you've missed the other ones, of course, jump into those Spider-Man games. And the last one we'll read today is from Spencer, Gamer Engaging Asian, and he writes, Returnal and Demon Soul would be my choice for challenge, but if I want some heart-wrenching games, Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 1. Look, if you are a gamer looking for that challenge, Demon Soul and Returnal will absolutely be those choices for you. Now, Demon Soul is that deep kind of Souls game, right, that we all know, one of the originals of it all. But in the end of the day, I mean, if you know Souls game, it's going to be that formula. But if you want something more unique, then of course Returnal is going to be something a little bit different, because it's kind of a roguelite, a shooter kind of game, which is really cool. But if you want to play that Demon Soul, it is the best version of it, because that remake looks so good. And once you put it into that PlayStation 5, you're gonna be thinking to yourself, man, I hope all games look like this. And you're gonna find out all of them really don't. But it's all good, because in the end of the day, gaming isn't only about graphics, it is about the great experiences they bring to us, and that is it for this video. So if you guys like this video and you want to participate in the conversation, make sure to follow me on X, where I pose these questions, and I'm going to bring it back to you guys, and then we have a little discussion about it all. My name is Link, and I'll see you guys in the next video.